morning, good afternoon, good night. Welcome to this session number 5 and 6. We are today we will work at the same time the contents of session 5 and 6. Okay. I want to propose today 3 parts of the session. The first part will be about the role playing, about the defense of the Ganges River. And in the second section, we will explore some tools and examples in the intersection between environmental justice and environmental reproductive justice. Now, because to actually the fight against ecological violence is in dialogue with reproductive and social and sexual justice. Okay, to start, I don't see Samai. And she's the guardian. No, she's the high court or the guardian. Jessie, ¿tú eres la guardiana o eres la corte?
Hola, buenos días.
Yeah.
Samaya es la corte.
Oh, like every day. Justice is late. Every day. Okay, I don't know. Samay. Buenos días, Samay, ¿cómo estás?
Hola, buenos días.
Bueno, buenos días. Estábamos hablando de
Sí, yo
las
soy la corte.
justicia siempre llega tarde, pero llega. Ok, bueno, bienvenida.
Gracias.
Entonces estaba contándoles que vamos a trabajar la sesión como en 3 momentos, ¿sí? En un primer momento vamos a explorar, ¿no? Con esta metodología de los juegos de roles, cómo la podemos usar en en nuestros procesos. Y en el segundo momento vamos a ir más profundo en algunos de los contenidos de la sesión 5 y 6 que nos permiten ver cómo todas estas luchas contra la violencia ecológica se articulan con las luchas em, de de las violencias contra las mujeres indígenas. ¿M? Y en la parte final vamos a hacer un trabajo por grupos para que también tengan estos espacios de poder compartir entre ustedes que no son muchos, ¿vale? Bueno, I have some videos about the case of the Ganges River. Perhaps I want to start with with the videos because perhaps we can have a little insight watching the videos, okay? Do you see my screen? Sorry. Okay, we have this one in English and the other in Spanish. we can start with this video in English, okay? It is possible to see my screen for everyone?
Meet Gandhis. She loves wildlife. She's really popular, especially with Hindus who see her as sacred. She's quite big, stretching from the Himalayas down to Bangladesh. She's also India's oldest and one of its most important people. Confused? Well, while it might seem kind of weird, the Ganges River is one of 2 Indian rivers that have just been given the same rights as people. The other is the Yamuna, which runs into the Ganges. Now, obviously, they're not people, they're rivers. But an Indian court decided they were really important living things that deserve the same protection people get. You see, the rivers are really badly polluted, and Indian authorities have been trying to change that. Giving them the same rights as people means that if someone harms the river, then in the eyes of the law, it'd be the same as harming a person. The decision in India comes just a week after New Zealand's 3rd largest river, the Wanganui, also got the same rights as a person. Local Maori people see the river as an ancestor, and they've been fighting for years to have it recognized.
That river is such an important and intricate part of people's lives.
The decision was cause for celebration among Wanganui's family members. It's hoped that in New Zealand, as well as in India, the new laws will make a big difference for these rivers and all the other people that depend on them.
Okay, this is the first version in English, and I have another one in Spanish.
La peregrinación del Kumbh Mela es única. Cada 3 años, millones de peregrinos se dan cita en las orillas del Ganges para un baño ritual que los purifica. Este año se realizó en Haridwar, uno de los 4 sitios donde, según la mitología hindú, cayeron gotas del néctar de la inmortalidad por el que se enfrentaban dioses y demonios.
Lo más importante es la paz interior, sentirse satisfecho y que Dios sea benevolente con nosotros, porque nuestra Madre Ganges nos bendijo.
No hay edad para participar. 50 millones de peregrinos vienen de los 4 rincones de India e incluso a veces del extranjero.
Muchos occidentales de mi generación y más viejos también vienen a India y nos encontramos cada 12 años, cada 6 años.
Para mantener el orden con semejantes multitudes, todas queriéndose bañar en el Ganges al mismo tiempo, las autoridades intentan evitar los movimientos de pánico. Para ello hay 20.000 policías de refuerzo y se instalaron cámaras de seguridad.
Hace un año que entrenamos a nuestros hombres para mantener el orden en caso de desbordes. Lo más importante es asegurar la circulación y vigilar los sitios más populares para evitar que la gente patine.
Este año hubo incidentes que causaron varios muertos y heridos, pero para la mayoría de los peregrinos que no tienen otra opción que acampar al aire libre, los motivos de su viaje no tienen nada que ver con la seguridad ni el confort.
Cuando me baño siento que mi alma se purifica. Siento una gran conciencia, como un despertar interior.
La próxima peregrinación será en 2013 en la ciudad de Allahabad. Será aún más impresionante porque durará menos tiempo, solo 6 semanas, y recibirá a más gente. Se esperan al menos 70 millones de personas, siempre para un renacimiento espiritual.
Okay.
¿Quieres sentir tu cabello hidratado y conmovido?
Well, I want to remember some of the roles in this example of role playing. Yes, we have here the guardians of Ganges River. Yes, and the representative is Jessie Luna from Mexico. And we have the High Indian Court of Justice represented by Samai. And in my case, I am an actor of economical industries, enterprise, and agricultural activities in this region. Okay. I think I need perhaps a rapporteur who should present after the role playing some conclusions and comments. Who wants to be our rapporteur? Nobody? Doman or Naina, Nukila, do you want to play the role of rapporteur, international rapporteur of the rights of indigenous peoples after her visit in India?
But I think I can voluntarily be a reporter.
Okay, thank you. Okay. And as a reporter, I think you can moderate the discussion. You need to tell us how many times we have. You need to do the mediation between the conflicts and tensions, okay? Go on, Mrs. Rapporteur Nukila, international rapporteur.
Good morning, good afternoon, ladies. Today, we are going to have a case, and we will I have the from the people, from the community, the indigenous peoples, as well as from the court, the defender, as well as from the company. So I would like to give the floor for three of them, one by one. So I will give more a time for each for around 15 minutes for each to present the case and also the defense, as well as the summary or the conclusion that your case. First of all, I would like to give the time to Samai, please. Samai, 15 minutes.
Bueno, soy miembro del Alto Tribunal del Estado de Uttarakhand, en el norte de India. Y debo decir que el Ganges es un recurso vivo para la India y juega un rol espiritual importante para toda su comunidad. Por lo tanto, el río Ganges va a ser el segundo río de la India nombrado como poseedor de derechos con estatus legal de persona. Por lo tanto, el Estado deberá ser guardián de este río. Queda prohibido contaminar el río porque será como dañar a un ser
because it will be just like killing and harming a human person, and it should be and it should also be kept clean. The residual waters and the industrial waste come to it, or else you will be violating Article 21 of the Constitution of the Indian Constitution. On the care of the water is very important because of its viral importance, and they're important for the existence of half of the population of India, for their health and well-being. She's done, Nukila.
Is it enough, Samai, for your defense? Okay. So
She is done.
I would like to conclude what Samai said, that the Ganga River and the people having legal rights. It's prohibited to pollute it. The Ganga River is important, and it becomes the populations of the India. So next is I would like to give who will be the next to the defense lawyers, yeah, right? Correct me, am I wrong? For the yeah, for the opponents, please. Who will be the next?
I think I am.
Okay, please, Miss Angela. Your time
Okay.
is 15 minutes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mrs. Nukila, Special International Rapporteur. I disagree with Samai because as an industrial enterprise, we need to we are factories and we are responsible of manufacturing facilities located along the Ganges River. Because we need to develop agricultural activities in this region and urbanization. I am so sorry. Excuse me. I am a little lost. Well, I disagree with Samai because the economic development of India and economical growth is crucial in this moment of the history of our country. And as many enterprises operating along the Ganges River, we are contributing significantly to the economical growth of the region. We provide employment opportunities, we stimulate local economies, and we contribute to the overall prosperity of communities along the river. We don't have many alternatives. Yes, this region is suffering a lack of alternatives. And in some cases, we don't have a viable alternative of the current methods of operation, of our operation. Yes, because unfortunately, some of our activities result in pollution, but they are not affordable or feasible waste treatment facilities available. The responsibility is governmental responsibility. In other sense, the regulatory challenges existing in India are unclear and inconsistent. And in this sense, we need a regulatory environmental adequately regulation supporting and incentivize sustainable practices, but it's not our responsibility to make and to elaborate this kind of regulations. And we are doing a lot of social responsibility efforts to mitigate pollution and to improve environmental conditions along the Ganges. We are investing in these communitarian initiatives. We are proposing sponsor cleanup programs to control pollution measures. And if we propose a balancing priorities, the profits and the efficiency of our operation is in dialogue with environmental sustainability. Finally, I disagree. This kind of decision, legal decision, should be incredible. Incredible incredible, a bad decision for the economical development of India. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Miss Angela. As a rapporteur, I'll need to conclude what Miss Angela said, that from the industrial enterprise perspective, they disagree with from the community defenders, because the industrial has been supported the economic growth of the India, and they also they created the employment opportunity. Also, they said they don't have many alternative. They follow the regulation, but they also, the industrial enterprise also protest regarding regulatory that they said is inconsistent, and they said also they need to have environmental regulation. I can take a note also that that industrial enterprise has already obeyed the social responsibility mechanism. So they disagree with the defender from the indigenous community or local communities. So I would like to give, before I give to the high court, to the court decision, I would like to give if any from the community defender, if you have any something to say about this agreement. Samay, 10 minutes if you have.
Me gustaría escuchar a la comunidad para poder dar mi veredicto.
I want to listen to the community before I have to give my other opinion.
Oh, okay. For the community, yeah. For who's the community?
Jesse,
Jesse, please, Jesse.
Gracias.
Thank
Gracias,
you.
Nukila.
Thank you, Nukila.
Un guardián espiritual del
I am a
río.
spiritual guardian of the Ganges River.
Todos tenemos la responsabilidad de
We all
cuidar
have the
nuestro río.
responsibility of taking care of our river
Es un sitio
because
sagrado.
it is a sacred
La madre
space.
Ganges que
It is a mother Ganges who
protege
shelters
las almas de
and
nuestros
protects
ancestros.
the souls of our ancestors.
El río limpia nuestro cuerpo,
The river
purifica
cleanses
nuestra
our
alma,
soul and purifies our soul, cleanses our body and purifies our souls, and lets us heal spiritually.
El río Ganges es un ser vivo
The
que
Ganges
merece
River
ser
is a
cuidado
living
y
being that
respetado.
needs to be taken care of and respected,
Así como también es un
just
sitio
like
sagrado
being a
que
sacred space
representa la
that
sabiduría,
represents
pureza,
the wisdom,
divinidad
the purity,
y
dignity,
esperanza
and
que nos
hope
permite trascender para
that
nuestra
allows us to
evolución
transcend
mística y
for
espiritual.
the mystic
Gracias por
freedom.
escucharme.
Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you from the community, Yesi, Miss Yesi. And I would like to give the final conclusion to the Samay.
Sí, de acuerdo. He podido escuchar
I was able to listen to both the companies as well as the communities and beg to provide this verdict from listening to the posture of the companies, especially that the state has to be more responsible. And that's specifically that we're going to adjust the responsibility, a state responsibility, that we're going to issue this verdict. That is the right of taking care of the water as a living being. The state of India is going to provide the constitutional rights and statement of the international statement on water and sustainable development since 1992. And this declaration states that as the basic principles for sustainable management of hydric resources and recognizes water as an economic value, social, cultural, and also by listening to the community in the Indian practice, we can also highlight the mystical and spiritual value that it has. This is a guide so that all programs and companies that want to develop in the companies want to guide themselves and continue practicing good international practices to work in India. So we recognize the community, the value of the community, And as High Court of India, of Justice of India, we declare the Ganges River as a living being, as a person, and it also won't be able, so you won't be able to harm it. You can harm a human being. If it was hurt, we're going to be hurting a living person. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Samai, for your verdicts regarding this Ganga case. I can highlight from the decision that there is a decision about that what Ganga River should be respected. This Ganga is a kind of living, yeah, kind of living, or can be a kind of person. You cannot harm it, and also the decision is water. Water in the river is an economic values, so it's related with sustainable development. I think that's all that I can report it for our case today. I'll end this session. Thank you so much for your listening.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your participations and excellent arguments. Somebody, this kind of exercise should be interesting to the social appropriation of the community in this kind of difficult discussion, no? Because I don't know if for Jessie and Samai, but for me it was difficult to read the technical documents of the case, and sometimes is the role playing, it could be interesting. Okay, now I want to imagine, yes, we are in the next session of the International Permanent Forum for Indigenous Peoples in New York. I think is in May, the session. And we have the opportunity as FIMI to develop a side event about this issue, okay? And we have the representative of Kenya and Tanzania, Vivian. I think Vivian, yes, Vivian, because Nai is not here today, okay? And I know she's working, she has an interesting project about extractive industries in her country. And I know we have an international representative from Bolivia, Mrs. Liz Bautista, with an interesting intercultural project about water and land in her region. And we have two international researchers as Elder Lorena, who is working in Guatemala and Dunen Canabia in Colombia about this issue. Yes. Do you want, where is the special rapporteur? Nukila. He left us. Sometimes this kind of international representation is hard to access, no? It's difficult to access to this kind of authorities, no? But for this reason, I think it's so important to participate and to take care of the possibility to talk about this kind of representative, because it's so fast. Okay, we are at New York City. We are so happy because we are together, and Vivian, Mayora Lorena, and Duneika Nevia having a special meeting with the special rapporteur of Indigenous people, and the possibility to talk about the specific issue of Indigenous women. Sometimes these sessions are very short, yes, 15 minutes or something like that. And it's the opportunity for you as the representative of your country and this issue to talk with Mrs. Nukila, the special rapporteur of Indigenous women, okay? And she's a woman, she's an Indigenous woman, yes? You have a big opportunity, okay? Vivian, are you ready? Dunen, Mayora Lorena, ¿están listas para encontrarse con la relatora especial de los derechos de los pueblos indígenas? Ok, listo, Mayora, no hay problema. Liz, ¿estás lista? La Mayora Lorena está en un
Liz, are you ready,
meeting
Marolena?
importante con el gobierno de Guatemala en estos momentos en Nueva York, entonces no nos puede acompañar. Y en la vida real es así.
In the real life, that happens as well.
¿No? Vivian, are you ready?
Vivian, are you ready?
¿Estás lista?
Liz, are you ready to start working? Thumbs up if you're ready. We're gonna have this special meeting with the special correspondents.
¿Puedes acompañar a la visita? ¿O estás
And then can you come to the visit?
haciendo
Or are you also
otras cosas
in another
importantes
meeting?
en el foro permanente? Bueno, parece que
Should I
estamos...
go
All right.
on?
Of course. You are our representative. Go on, Vivian. You are in the office of the special rapporteur, Nukila. You need to do the protocol. She's a very important representative. She's the representative of the international indigenous movement in the world. And at the same time, she's a indigenous woman, no? And how do you think you can transmit your message to her, okay? And you are with Liz. You are an international delegation representing Latin America and Africa, yes? But you need to talk about the general perspective of indigenous women too. It's a big deal, no? A big responsibility. Okay, go on. You are in the office with the rapporteur. Vivian, go on.
So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all. So, for me, I would talk about how Indigenous women have long been living in harmony with nature, ensuring that historically they have been coexisting with nature, ensuring that their activities does not affect the environment. But because of increased human population and impacts of climate change, which affects Indigenous community where Indigenous women reside, there is need for more food and more resources to sustain the growing population. So because of the increasing human development, such as establishment of expansion of agricultural farms, use of chemicals in order to produce more food,
development of industries at the indigenous land has resulted into pollution of the environment, more specifically water. So for me, I would urge everyone to make sure that the activities that we undertake does not compromise the water quality, because water is key, water is life, water is where we derive all our livelihoods. Yes, so there is need to coexist with nature and make sure that the development aspect go along or coexist with the natural part of the environment, so that the water quality is not compromised, and generally the environmental part or the environment gets justice as well as human health. Yeah. Thank you. That's what I would talk about. Sorry.
Nukila, you are the rapporteur. You can do everything.
Thank you, Vivian. I really appreciate your explanation. But I have some questions for you as well.
Okay.
Because you mentioned about industrial development, and then I would like to, if you can explain to us how to relate industrial development with the water scarcity or clean water. When you talk with the the authority, how do you convince them that that is relate between the industrial development, because and then the water scarcity or clean water? Thank you so much.
So first of all, the community have the capacity. The community have been trained on the free, prior, and informed consent. They are aware of their rights. They are aware that they should be involved. They should be actively involved before any development happens in their land. So ensuring that the community actually participates during and also before the development of any project in the community land, there is need for a comprehensive environmental and social impact assessment. And for an industry to have that certificate of environmental impact assessment, they need to involve the community actively for them to be awarded that certificate. So by that, the needs of the community, their priorities will be well reflected throughout the development of the project. And involving the community will ensure that their rights in terms of maybe waste disposal from the industry is well, the effluent discharge is well treated before it is being released into the river where the community uses. So having that balance between the community and the industrial development will ensure that the water quality, the safety of the water, and of course the biodiversity which lives in the water is well safeguarded. Yeah.
So, sorry, I just want to continue with my questions. So you're mentioning that it's supposed to be like a prior consent, right, from the indigenous people before the industrial came into their land, right?
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. So and then this industrial development or enterprise, they should let knows the indigenous people about the impact that they will cause when they operationalize their industry, right?
Of course, the license is being issued by the relevant authority. In this case, maybe the county government, Ministry of Environment, Water and Natural Resources. So before the license is being issued, a thorough investigation will be conducted to ensure that there is compliance to the aspects outlined in the environmental impact assessment report by the industry. Yes.
Thank you, Vivian.
Okay, I don't know if Liz or somebody else want to talk about the special rapporteur about any specific case, or I don't know, somebody from Asia. Nobody? Please?
Sí. Bien. Buenos días, hermanas. Buenas tardes, buenas noches.
Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Yes, I would like to speak a little bit more about climate change. From Bolivia, globalization has seen a lot of cultural changes, and there's a decrease in cultural values, and it affects the loss of indigenous identity in our region and in other countries that are also suffering. But beyond that, we have seen these climate changes lately in the Andes areas, and we see drought and a lack of water. The agricultural lands are less fertile. The water sources are dry. Our snow is contaminated. It's polluted, so our water isn't clean as it was before. Also, we have to mention that, unfortunately, our economic model as a country in Bolivia has also changed. The one that is currently having is the agricultural expansion in Bolivia, and that is based in 3 different elements. The first one is the horizontal expansion that does not increase yields, but it expands over more land, but it generates fires and deforestation. And the second one is based on the export of cheap merchandise like soy, meat, sugar, and ethanol. And the third aspect is that it's based on a concentration of actors. There are 8 companies that produce soy that are large, 3 large cattle companies, and the other one is sugar. And in the year 2023, in July, we have declared that Bolivia is one of the 3 countries that will cut down trees at a rate of 700 hectares per day. It's so sad what's happening in these small countries, to show that the best way to have economical development is the extraction of our natural resources and not be reciprocal with nature. But before this crisis, what we need to do is be conscious and reflect and say what we're going to do as originary peoples, because the land is ours and the consequences are being suffered by these indigenous communities. That would be it. Thank you so much, Liz, for that testimony in first person, talking about what you were living.
Special rapporteur, do you want to? We have some minutes before the end of the meeting. Do you want to talk a little about the case of Bolivia and Latin America? No? Nukila, do you want to answer something about the Bolivian representative in intervention? Or it is okay?
Yeah, I think as my understanding from the Bolivia explanations regarding the case, I think it's always is similar in every regions, not only in Latin America, but also in Africa as well as in Asia. The case is the same because, as my understanding, that there is a gaps between the industry with the indigenous people rights and indigenous people access to their own resources or their like land, water, river, something like that. That's my conclusion. And the second one that I can conclude that this water can be diverse to the issues like polluted water, clean water, water scarcity, and then no water at all. So this is the case because water is used as a ritual, as the source for taking a bath, for fishing, for the sort of drinking water, something like that for the indigenous community people, and it becomes scarce now, and it should be I think to revitalize about the issue of water relate with the indigenous people's needs, and most of the women is the woman is taking care of their water because they give the drinking to the babies, to the children, to the household. So a woman also do some rituals in the water or in the river or in the sea. So this is very important to highlight about the how to relate the water with the indigenous women, because women play a key role to take care of their water for the family, households, children, and also the community. That I can conclude for the session from the Bolivia. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Nukila. Well, thank you everyone for your participation. I want to come back a little to show here. You have in the platform the guides of this kind of activities, and after, for example, the activity, we can ask some question, as for example, how do you feel after this contribution as an actress? And what do you want to change in the context, no? Or about the legal decision? Because sometimes this is an interesting decision, because I think it's the second in the world about legal subjectivity of rivers and mountains in New Zealand. and is the beginning of big decisions in the world. For example, here in my country, we have two legal decisions about the Amazonian region as legal subject, and the people from the Atrato River in the Chocó region in the border with Panama. Yes, but sometimes after these legal procedures, the decision is not a good decision, no? And it could be sad and disempowered, yes, not an empowerment process, but a very sad process and a re-victimization process for the participants. And it's important to check with the group, how do you feel about the experience, and how can we change or propose some actions or programs inside our institutions, organizations, or communities to talk about this issue, okay? As a gender transformative tool, as an intercultural transformative tool, Forum Theater offers for men and for women and for gender and diverse identities and expressions people an interesting tool, okay? Because we can talk and think critically about the harms and the painful memories and experiences, and we can propose new practices, okay? In this sense, I want to ask perhaps Jessie, Samai, and Nukila, how do you feel about these experiences? And perhaps, how do you think you can use role playing in your projects, or another kind of methodology involving the participation of your allies in your projects? Or if you are tired to to be in the center today, somebody else should participate. Vivian, go on.
So for me, what I can say is I will adopt a gender-sensitive approach whereby I will involve, when I talk about active engagement of the community, I will ensure that my approach is inclusive, where both Indigenous men and women are involved. And of course, I will not support any act that discriminates, that supports discrimination of another gender. Yeah. So what I can say in a nutshell is I will adopt an inclusive approach where both men and women are integrated. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Vivian. Because I don't know in your experience and your countries, but here in Colombia, it's so difficult to talk about the experience and the rights of diverse identities and expressions of gender people, okay? We have many examples of violence against inside the communities, outside, and multiple forms of oppression and discrimination and violence. And I think only the National Commission of Indigenous Women from Colombia, where Dunen Muelas, our host, is the national secretary, is talking about this issue. Yes, but it's a real challenge. As a teacher in my university, I have a lot of Indigenous and Afro-Colombian students, dealing with this pain, to be diverse and to be in a very insecure position, no, in their communities. Thank you, Vivian. Jessie?
Gracias. A mí esta actividad sí me agrada. Ya la he trabajado en
Thank you.
otras.
This activity, I like it. I've worked it in different times, and I think it's a very fun way through which we can reflect and learn and share with the community. I think that for those of you who are participating, initially it gives us the opportunity to look for information and document and to be in the role of other people and other institutions and other agents and try to to understand their perspective, because we have an opinion and or a position, and try to document ourselves and try to understand their position is very important, especially in the fights that we had, to try to incorporate all the diversity of opinions that exist around any situation. I think that's my opinion. Thank you. Thank you, Jesse. Also tell you that sometimes these games become very serious. I remember when we used to do these models in the Santa Marta mountains with Tunen, and we would play to do FIMI forums many years ago, or maybe 10 years ago. And we would invite the sisters from the territory, the special relator, the people who worked with FIMI, and it becomes serious because today, here we are with you. So it's real, it becomes real. I remember a man from the community that would play, that he was the secretary of the table of consultation, national table of consultation. We put the tables up and we would, it was like really to possess that character. And today he's the secretary of the permanent table of consultation. So I mean, nowadays, so it just becomes something serious. It becomes like a training. It's like bringing those international national spaces towards us, have India come close to us. I feel bad because my position was horrible, but at the same time, I felt really moved because theater has that ability to incorporate us. That river is not just belonging to the guardians and the inhabitants of the India, but it's also, I feel it's mine now also. It becomes my river, my cause as well. And so it has a power also from the energy of the work, and the body and the ability to incorporate. So thank you. Yes, virtually, maybe it's more complex, but it moves when you bring, when you speak. I remember a very beautiful book of how Indigenous women are doing policies from the police. And when you talk, Jesse, you speak with these political arguments that are impressive, and you do it basically doing poetry. You are able to establish your point from a very profound and deep reality and perspective. So here, that's also good to see the particular way how Indigenous women are making policies and politics, are making politics, bringing their experience and their rituals and their cosmovisions forth in each action. Thank you so much. I don't know if anybody
Group, your experience as, for example, whiteness of the exercise, like yes, like a observer of the exercise, or it's okay for everyone and we can continue. I don't know if perhaps Elder Lorena or Dunen want to share after your experience in this international floor in United Nations and your relation, for example, with the special rapporteur, no? I know Elder Lorena have been in these spaces for many years, and Dunen, as a Colombian Indigenous women, had the opportunity to have a meeting with the special rapporteur. I think it was in this moment Victoria Corpus from Philippines. Dunen, ¿quieres si puedes participar?
Would you like or can you participate? Mayor Elder Lorena, can you participate at this time or not yet?
Buenos días, yo solo agradecer el ejercicio que he presenciado, que he escuchado, y yo creo que supera más allá de la...
Good morning. I just want to thank the exercise that I have witnessed. I think it exceeds the rituality, and I think that you can incarnate the character is very important. And something else I wanted to highlight is to be able to really apply justice from the people's perspective, to take decisions on the cases. You have to see cultural rights, the rights of the forest, the seeds, the water, and recognize that these are living beings and they have rights just like people do. So that's fundamental. But for that, whoever's in the decision organisms or in charge of making decisions, they have to be conscious of the challenge. The great challenge is to have men and women, Indigenous women, taking on these roles, because they would, or at least they would hopefully understand very well the cosmovision that is against a position of progress. Because it's so important to note that these are two different perspectives that are so different. They're intrinsically different. One is based on a development where people and common assets are objects of exploitation that require or that generate economic richness. And in our case, it's the good living. So there's water is priceless. The life of seeds is priceless because they are life for the present and future generations of animals, plants, and people, of everything. So from there, we have a difference. And a second one is the people that take on charges in companies or positions in companies, whether they're Indigenous or not, or in the state or in the permanent forum or other spaces. Being Indigenous, you have the challenge of being sensitive with what the Indigenous communities are saying, because even the reporters, they have to have this life of this life argument in the forefront to live it and to understand it. Why do we say that water is sacred and mystical? When I heard Jessie, it was like saying water is speaking right there. That's not a person speaking, that's water speaking. So it moves me a lot, and to see if there's a sensibility, knowledge, and of the establishment of life and the science of the peoples, these decisions are not going to be complicated. And if there's real justice, because we won't have business interests that are being mediating under the table. That's what I would say. And it was a very valuable exercise, very important. And I think it can be a tool that we can apply in the processes of the research. How from a role play, we call it, we can identify a problematic situation and we can identify proposals, and how if someone in a different exercise has done the exercise that your water, seed, river, and when the river spoke, they had a character of each element. And many of them were crying because we had never had the river speak to us the way that it was spoken to us. And others were saying, yes, they do. They speak to us every day. So I conclude with that the importance of clarity, consciousness, and commitment to the argument of life, of the good living of peoples, and the preparation that we have Indigenous men and women that will occupy charges or positions in these spaces, and how even within the companies they can generate changes, although it's a challenge, but to recognize that they are subjects of rights because they are demanding rights. And when we recognize water, land, and forests and seeds and all elements are also subjects to rights, collective rights, we have a change. Angela, thank you, and thank you to the sisters who participated. Thank you, Majora. Thank you for these words that are always so transformative that you give us, and for all that wisdom and epistemological wisdom that you give us. This is called the relational ontology. We're talking about the human and the non-human, and how the non-human, which in this case would be the rivers, as you were saying, and how you were correcting, I have learned, the common rights, the ancestors and the spirits, they become subjects of rights and production of knowledge in our current science. So thank you so much. Okay, I don't know if Dunen, if you can, I know that I just pick you randomly. I'm so sorry. But I think that you have such wonderful things and important things to share with us that I always pick you at random. But if you can at this time, Dunen, that's not a problem. I understand. Okay, before we
will continue now, but I don't know if perhaps Elder Lorena want to close this section with with a invocation as you were.
Muy bien, voy a pedirles a todas que se identifiquen con un elemento de los 4 elementos: agua, fuego,
Please
viento.
pick an element: water, wind, fire, earth. So let's take a few seconds to pick up an element. If it wasn't born today, as Adunin, as Jesse, as myself, as Nikila, as Nate, and each one of you, if you were born as a person, what would you like being? Water, fire, land, earth, or wind? Inhale and exhale 3 times. Inhale and exhale 3 times. If you weren't born as a person, would you prefer, which element would you prefer to be? Water, fire, earth, or wind? And I'm going to say it myself, and then each one of you, we want to listen to everyone. Okay? I am wind. I'm going to ask each one of you to take care of yourself and take care of me. That I can be clean, fresh, and clear, so that the current and future generations, I want thankful for the past generation who recognized me with life, who took care of me, who loved me and defended me. I invite the today generation to love yourself, to take care of yourself and defend yourself, and put your life to love me, defend me, and take care of me. May it be and let it be. Continue. Anyone else who wants to be a volunteer? Which is your element and any type of comment you want to add? Angela, please, if it be you.
Yo soy fuego.
I am fire,
Y espero poder
and I
seguir
want to
ardiendo
be able to keep
para alentar todas estas
burning,
luchas
to
desde lo que sé hacer, que es
keep
enseñar,
pushing that fight
escribir,
in terms of teaching and learning,
pensar, sentir
of
pensar
thinking,
al
of
lado
feeling
de
and
ser
thinking,
testiga
being
de mis
witness
hermanas
of my
indígenas.
sisters, of my indigenous sisters. Someone else? To say three more people who want to participate, so we close this.
Yo soy agua,
I am water.
soy indispensable para la vida
I am indispensable for
del
life
planeta.
of
Soy
the
muy
planet.
importante
I am very important
para el sentir y para la
for
existencia
the
de
feeling and
los pueblos
existence
indígenas.
of the indigenous towns.
Soy muy feliz porque
I
las
am happy
semillas pueden crecer y
because the
florecer,
seeds can grow and spur.
pero también estoy triste
But
porque
I'm also sad because
estoy sufriendo en muchas
I'm
partes
suffering
del mundo,
in many parts.
porque hay personas que no me cuidan, que no me valoran,
There's people who don't take care of me, who don't
que
value
me
me,
hacen daño
who
y
harm me.
por eso hablo, para
And this is why I'm speaking,
invitarlas a
to invite
todas
you all
a que con su sabiduría, con su fortaleza, con su
with your strength and wisdom
conocimiento, con su voluntad, que nos podamos motivar y trabajar todos juntos para
so that we can work together,
seguir cuidándome,
so that we can keep taking care of me,
pero que a la vez yo también pueda seguir
so that I can also keep
creando vida, manteniendo la vida,
creating life and taking care of life.
que las luchas y las resistencias son muy
So the
importantes,
fights and
pero
resistances are
también la
important,
esperanza,
and hope is also
la
important.
esperanza
The
de
hope
tener un
of
mundo mejor, un agua
having a
limpia,
better
un
world,
agua clara para nuestra vida, que purifique nuestra alma, nuestro cuerpo, nuestro ser, que permita seguir creando vida con las plantas, los animales.
to take care of the plants, of animals.
Muy bien, puede seguir Vivian.
Vivian, the next.
So I am a tree, I am an indigenous tree because I am a home to different animals. I provide fresh air to the people, to the animals. I moderate the temperatures. I take care of the soil. So I had each one of us to take care of all indigenous trees, we use our traditional knowledge to take care of our trees and the rest of our environment so that we can have good health and a healthy planet. Thank you.
Muy bien. ¿Alguien más puede
Thank
saltar?
you. Anyone else? Could be Daisy, Nine, Nukila,
Samay, Liz,
Samai, Liz.
Jessie.
Anyone else? One last one.
Muy bien.
All right.
Sí, bienvenida.
Anaya? Anaya, you can speak.
I'm water because water is related to our life. and it is related to peace, also related to peace. And water protect fish and other biodiverse. So what my element is water.
Gracias. ¿Alguien más, Daisy?
Thank you. Anyone else? Daisy?
Okay, thank you. Water. I think there's okay. I represent water, and because to me and my community, water really means a lot. And with it's water that makes our women be seen in the community as much hardworking, because we have to walk for distances to go and get it, so that when we bring it back, it's what we use for our kettle, is what we use for cooking, is what we use for doing all the house chores. Without water, there's no life. So I represent, like, water is my element. Thank you.
¿Alguien más? Y si no, pues cerramos.
Someone
tanto.
else? If not, we'll be closing that. Thank you, Nine. Welcome.
I'm also represent water. Yeah, because in my country, there's lots of mountain and snowfall, but due to climate change, there is no snow, and there is a problem of water scarcity. So water is life for everyone, and it is also part of culture and religious and spiritual values. So I think I represent the water.
Gracias a cada una, al agua, al
Thank
viento.
you, each one of you, to the water, the wind, earth, and fire, for being four key elements that sustain our life. Thank you one time, two times, three and four times. And each one of you, let's embrace ourselves with the energy of earth. Let's come down to our legs and embrace with the energy of water. As it flows through us, let's touch our feet. And let's embrace our feet with the energy of the earth. And let's close now, open our arms for the energy of fire. So that everything that we are and we do transcends and transforms and purify. Make the water, the salted water and the sweet water, with the young water and the old water, with Mother Earth, for the Father Wind, Grandfather Wind, and Grandfather Fire can cover us. And the energy of each one of these elements takes away with you on the work that each one of you do with your families, in your communities, in your towns, and with humanity as a whole. And that your elements in our life allow us to continue to do these researches with happiness and joy, with wisdom, recognizing life, the life of others with whom we will live. May it be that way, and let it be. Okay, so we're now closing. Thank you very much.
Ay, gracias, Mayor. Qué bello.
Thank you.
Usted
Thank you,
siempre
Elder
nos
Lorena.
deja o a mí.
You always leave us, or at least you leave me flying. Thank you.
Now we have
Now,
to the break because I forgot sometimes to break. See you in 10 minutes. Okay, welcome at this second section of the session. We have 30 minutes to explore some of the contents of the module, and after we have the work in small groups. Okay. Well, I want. Do you see my screen? Okay. Well, here in the session 6 in the module 5. Sorry, the session 6 of the module 5, we have some example of an important tool, informing consent document, because for many of you, for example, to work with international cooperation, etc., it is important to have some information about this kind of documents. Okay, it is important to introduce the title of your study, a section where you have the authorization and consent for the participation. For example, if you are working with children, you need to talk with the parents of the children. We need to explain, no, the participation is completely free. And you need to check if the participants understood the information, no? You need to ask specifically if the person agree. Perhaps it is important to propose a general description of the project, the objective of the study, the general objective, and why were you chosen to participate in this study. Okay. You need to think about the guarantees of the participation of your alliance, yes, and to emphasize that this information is confidential, and to propose if the person if the person wants to be named or no. Because, for example, in cases about sexual violence or violence against Indigenous women, the question of confidentiality, anonymity, etc., is very important. We need to explain too how do you provide security for the data, and how do you will use the information and in the divulgation process, okay? And to emphasize that the participation is completely voluntary, and because sometimes in many international research projects, for example, with resources from United States, the researchers pay the participation, but it's not an ethical perspective to perhaps to pay the participants, no? It is important to talk about how do you will inform the result of the studies, and how you are thinking about the mitigation of unexpected situation, for example, okay? The acceptance should be oral or, for example, using a document. Here, for example, you can do a make audio recording. You can You can use the name and signature, but in many occasions with it is not easy, no? In many occasions to talk and to use documents like this, but if it is possible and if you want to do it, this is an example, okay? It is important, for example, for us in this example, we have a legal and national legislations in Colombia as the resolution in 1993 and the resolution on 2008. This is a protection data law, and for us, it is important to take care of national, international, ethical legislation, legal decisions. Okay. Well, I don't know if you have questions or comments about this section. It is okay for everybody? Okay. Well, now we are going to finish some contents about the module 5. In dialogue with the exercise of this morning, no? For example, as Elder Lorena told us, this Colombian author, Astrid Ulloa, is talking about the continuum between the territorial defenses and the continuum with indigenous women bodies, times, and spaces, and their corporal representations. And I think this is an interesting perspective to work about recovery of memories of resistance of indigenous women, memories of caring of indigenous women, and in this sense, she invites us to think about politics and resistance in a everyday and intimate perspective, no? As a legitimate space to produce knowledge. Now, I want to go to the guide of this section to ask you and to propose some ideas for the group in small groups. Could you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay, thank you.
Not
Wow.
yet. You didn't share the screen.
Oh, okay. Okay. And now can you see my screen?
No, not yet.
No, no se ve.
Here. Oh no, we cannot see.
Okay, thank you. I can. And now?
Yes.
Ahora
Now we
sí.
can.
Okay. Gracias, thank you. Okay, well, this is the guide. I want to explore in these minutes an example. As Daisy and Esther, our sister from Kenya, we're talking about female genital mutilation, okay? Because, for example, in the small groups, we are going to prepare to think about a workshop and to propose a little exercise for the last section of this session by group, okay? And this is an example, only an example. For example, as I think it was Jessie, she told us this exercise could be interesting because we need to do a little of research, to read, to understand the different perspective. And in this case is an opportunity to educate ourselves, no? For example, this is the result of a research that I had developed about different workshop working with female genital mutilation survivors by Indigenous women organizations in Kenya and Tanzania. And for example, this is an important issue, is a good possibility, no? The other kind of challenge is to think about ethical considerations, yes, because all of you have a sensitive topics, and it's important to understand the potential harm of our actions and how we can deal with that. For example, I am thinking about the last words of Lorena when she was talking about the importance of intercultural sensitivity and sensibility of international representative and the members of this international enterprise. Okay, the ethics research approval is very important. We have, for example, in many institutions, boards, institutional review boards, or ethic committees, and I think the elders councils in your communities with healers, etc., are two ethics committees, no? And how do you present your projects and ask advice for the rights and well-being of the participants and your own well-being? Okay, the informed consent is important. The protection of participants in terms of protection of the privacy, confidentiality, and information, and ensure the data storage because is a very important information. Okay. A collaborative perspective. We are working with trauma in many times, and it is important perhaps to yes, to do a little of research or alliances, to establish alliance with trauma-informed approach, okay? Our self-cares, to think about the dissemination of findings, etc. Okay, here I have an interesting example after doing a research about how Indigenous women in Kenya and Tanzania are working this issue. And we have the incredible opportunity to have here Nai, Fifian, and Daisy. And for example, in these experiences, the community-centered approach is so important with the communitarian engagement and participation of women and men, youth, and different kind of members of the communities and organizations. And I think the most important thing here is the dignity and the recognitions and the guarantee of the rights of the girls and women. The cultural sensitive and respect perspective in a respectful dialogue with drawing, storytelling, traditional values and customs to propose positive change in a dignity of the indigenous cultures and cosmovision, and at the same time to be critical against violent practices in communities. Okay, the alternative rites of passage. I think this is a very interesting proposal of this organization, as for example, promoving ceremonies, often incorporating cultural rights, mentorships, promoting girls' self-esteem, resilience, and well-being. The dialogue with the possibility to offer a holistic support services, and the dialogue with advocacy and the intersectional approaches in a dialogue with ethnicity, class, religion, and disability people. Okay, networks and alliances, and this is the last point. I think is so important because they are proposing a community-led solutions. No, Indigenous women organizations are prioritizing a community-led solutions to address this issue, and with the local task force and community driving initiatives. Okay. Well, the use of traditional healing practices, peer support, and survival networks. I think this is a very interesting proposal. Creative arts and expressive therapies. And for example, the proposition of community-based healing circles. Okay, this is the project of DAISYS, the DAISYS projects about education and psychoeducation. The importance of research and documentation, yes, as your projects. And finally, we have some examples, but I don't know directly these examples. Perhaps our sisters from Africa should have an interesting comment about this experience. We have this organization, Mendeleo ya Guanaguaque, the Tazaru Tomonok initiative in Iraq with this incredible woman, Agnes Parejo, as a Maasai woman. This organization provides safe houses, education, and alternative rite of passage program for girls and women. And for example, we have Samburu Girls Foundation with Josephine Kulea, with this specific agenda, child against a child beating and child marriage. And another organization, for example, the Girl Generations and Pastoralist Child Foundation. I don't know if it's the organization of Nai of Vivian. I don't know. And the Narok County Woman. Okay, this is I don't know if our sisters from Africa want to comment on or to talk about this section. No, nobody. Okay. Well, now this is an example to the work in the small groups. Okay, we will have 3 groups. Yes, one from Latin America, another from Asia, and another from Africa. Okay. And I want to ask the groups to prepare an activity during 15 minutes to apply in the last section of our meeting. Okay? This is an example. Yes, perhaps it's not the best example, and perhaps it's a good example. This is, for example, a workshop example of Tazaru Tomonok initiative funded by Agnes Parejo. Yes. For example, in her proposal, the foundation have a section about preparation and setting of the workshops. Yes. A welcome and introduction, some icebreaker activities, expressive art activities, yes, to promote, for example, self-expression, reflection, and healing related to their experience of female genital mutilation. They use imagery exercise to encourage participants and to visualize healing, for example, and positive outcomes. Visual arts activities such as drawing, painting, collage making, storytelling, exploring feelings, etc. They use music and movement, dance, drumming, singing, and storytelling, and at the end a reflection and sharing. Okay. For example, some workshops are put in the center the alternative rite of passage or storytelling, as Anai and Vivian and Daisy had emphasizes in our last sections. And they use 2 cultural performance, for example, no? As for example, these Maasai jumping dances as Adumu, traditional dances, blessing and anointing, community involvement and support, education and awareness, etc. Okay, and the important center in methodological perspective of storytelling. Okay. And you have some example here of this kind of activities. Okay. Well, now I want to check with the group if the objective of the small group is clear. Yes? Okay. Well, go on. We have perhaps is a little example, no? Because the idea is to work together and to, for example, to propose. I don't know. For example, oh, I want to invite the big group to using a storytelling to think about I don't know, this specific thing. Yes, we have 10 minutes for the groups, and after 50 minutes sorry, and after we have 10 minutes by group to explore. It's like a training. Okay, we are here to explore how we can propose a workshop. Vivian?
I have a question.
Okay.
Yo tengo una pregunta.
So the work revolves around female genital mutilation or any other topic?
Any other topic. It was an example, okay? Because here in Colombia, we have many cases of female genital mutilation, but it's not an important issue in the agenda, in the national agenda. And I am obsessed, upset with your experience in Africa, because here we don't know how we can deal with this big challenge, okay? Is my, is my, yes, I am so interested because we need to know how we can work here. But you can propose whatever you want, okay? Okay. Well, Otis, Dunen, ¿me podrían ayudar a dividir los grupos, los 3 grupos? Asia, África y
We
Latinoamérica.
divided into the 3 groups, Africa, Asia, and Latin America, so you can go out and prepare your workshops.
10 minutos y
So
volver después al
we'll
grupo.
do 10 minutes and then come back as a group.
Hi, Vivian and everyone.
Hello again. What do you want to propose to the big group?
Hi, Angela.
Hi.
Do you want we propose a topic or what are we proposing? Within us or discussion in the main group?
I think a specific activity. Okay, you are in your community and you need to propose a workshop, an encounter. In this case, the big group is our community. We need to propose an activity.
Okay, I understand. Thank you.
Can I propose?
Yes.
Of course, of course.
Maybe women empowerment. Daisy, what do you think?
I think that's okay. Or do we need to be specific to what we're empowering them on?
Women empowerment of, economic empowerment of. Can we choose a
No.
place?
Yeah, we can choose a
Vivian,
place.
it is very wide.
Yeah.
Economic empowerment.
I think it's good to be specific. When you speak about women empowerment, there's a lot in it. What specific are we going to talk about in the women empowerment? in order to have a broader way to explain it compared to the name itself. We'll be speaking about many. For example, the way she was speaking about female genital mutilation is a single topic in it. So what are we going to empower?
Women economic empowerment in terms of the financial
Okay, in the
part.
so it is women economic empowerment in
empowerment.
income generation activities, or what's
Yes.
Okay.
No, that was just my opinion. To your input is highly welcome. Like you've mentioned income generating activity. Yeah.
Oh, sawa. Mimi
What do
niko
you
safarini hapa sasa, sitaongea sana, niko kwenye basi.
Daisy, what do you think?
I think that's okay. Because it's going to be specific now. We don't have to beat around like a whole thing, and we only have 15 minutes. Or we could choose a topic like the role of women in climate change, because we are all from arid areas, you know, Africa, the Maasai, Nileage is from there. Anything, but what you said is okay, economic empowerment.
Okay. So which one can we go your way?
Which way, Vivian, again?
Huh?
Which way?
The one for Daisy. You know, for my point, I was like, if we say women economic empowerment, and then now when it comes to the approach, we talk about capacity building of women, training women on how to be financially independent. Daisy. Then we talk about empowering women to form self-help groups. And then they choose an economic activity that they want to venture into, like poultry farming or any other business.
I think so, you're okay.
Yeah.
We can
That
say
is
this
okay,
way.
Vivian.
Okay, now
Let's
you
put
go.
this way. Let's put this way. Let's say women economic empowerment, but our activity will be on income generating activities. So in those generating activities, now we mention the self groups that you mentioned, poultry activity, either beekeeping, small gardens, your kitchen gardens, all that. And then on the way, while you're explaining, we can even chip in the issue of climate change on arid and semi-arid, on how we work on it, and then hiyo inaingia kwenye economic empowerment.
So
did you hear me, Vivian?
Yes.
So we can relate it also on other issues like climate change, issues like erupting diseases, flood, and others. How do they cope with the issues like those one? But they are empowered in income generating activities, despite other catastrophe activities that may come onto them.
So maybe on that aspect of climate change, can we talk of training them on is it climate adaptation to promote climate resilience?
Vivian? Vivian?
Yes?
Because we are speaking on economic empowerment and how it can intertwine with climate change, we can say also mothers, they have 3 seedlings. We've trained them on how to keep them, and they later on sell within the community, because they cannot plant, like if someone has, that is something we've seen, you've seen, I've seen. That's one thing we do. Women sell to the others, they get money, and at the same time they're mitigating climate change.
Yeah,
that's my
we cannot word is important, because we cannot say anything which is hurt them.
Okay.
So we will create the well-being environment.
Yeah, well-being environment. Okay. Well-being environment, right, Anya? Well,
Yes.
well-being environment. Okay. Okay, anyone want to add? Anyone?
Yeah.
Leading well-being environment. Okay. Take notes.
Nokila, you can
Yeah.
add ensure well-being environment and dignity of participant, I think.
And dignity of
Like you can
participant.
respect them also and ensure that everyone respect everyone.
The participant, everyone, respect everyone. Okay. Participant. Okay. Everyone respect everyone. Okay. Anyone want to add? Okay, I think it's better with PPT. Yeah? I'm trying to find my PPT.
And I think to keep our files safely. I mean, like, not like to keep confidential, not to let anyone see the information except yourself. To keep it safely, like use to keep it safely, I think. And for the people, if we want to keep confidential, I think we should not use their name, like to use
Anonym, yeah.
Yeah, to use like this. And
Okay. Anonym to keep them safely. Okay. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Anyone want to add? Before I'm typing within in the PPT. Okay, the stages. What is the title? The stages of protocol of protocol. Maybe protocol, yeah. Protocols of research. Asia. Anyone want to add? Asia. I will share after this. Share group. Anyone? Where is Florence? Florence.
this is reflection.
Pardon?
This is reflection. Do we have reflection? I mean, like, after we get the note, to reflect this carefully, to not like make any change when we
Feedback, you mean? The feedback from them?
What is your question?
Do you mean like a feedback? Reflection? What do you mean by the reflection?
I mean, to reflect our note, not to make any change or like extras or like like sometimes we interview them in this is we just use our mother language. I'm sorry, I misunderstood. Okay. I think we need to interview in English. No, we just use them in our own language.
Can we say like we need their feedback if there is any feedback from them?
Sure, I think.
Yeah, feedback from if there is any feedback. Okay, what else? What else? What else? What else?
I think equality also, we cannot discriminate with participants, or no one can discriminate others.
No one can? No one can discriminate others. Okay. No one can discriminate others. Okay. Mhm.
Yes, I have your video here. Wait a minute. Um, yes. Wow.
Do I explain the meaning of the song? Because it's so powerful.
Of course.
So this is a
Oh,
woman which had
Yes, we are going to the other, to the main group.
yes, I think you. Okay, welcome to the big group. And thank you for your work. And now, who wants to start? Each group have 10 minutes, okay? Because after we have, I have another class and I need to run. Who wants to start?
No tenemos la interpretación de español. Gracias.
Gracias, Jenny Lynn. Now it is okay now? The interpretation? The translation?
Alguien y Franco tienen sus micrófonos apagados. Un momento, ya les explico.
Ya, Alina. Ok, gracias, gracias, Alina. Okay, who wants to start? Africa, Asia, Latin America?
I think can we start from Asia?
Of course, go on. Thank you.
Okay. I would like to share the screen. I hope it works. I don't know if okay. I don't know if this is about the protocol of research that we were discussing in Asia group. During for the protocol of research, we are concluded that we need to first of all we need to build the connection with the indigenous peoples and building the trust to them towards the indigenous leaders or those elder people in the indigenous community, so that they can influence the others community or groups. And the second one is to distribute the consent form with comprise of the like a clause or articles, so that they feel safe after we distribute the consent form. The three is to protect the privacy of the indigenous people communities, ensure the well-being of the environment, dignity of the participants, and everyone respect everyone. It includes respect the culture, the history, do and don't, taboo things, and etc. And then four, to keep them safely. So we need to secure that they feel safe, they feel comfortable in every kind of the stages of the research, particularly to the women. Five, if they want anonym, so if they prefer to be anonym, not to mention the name, we respect that. For instance, they don't want to be called their name like Amanda, so we will give the only the letter like A or B or C, or something like that. And we also open for the feedback from the indigenous peoples. If they have feedback, they don't like our methodology, for instance, they want to give input, they want to give some important informations, they want to have additional comments. So we are really open on that particular feedback, so we can, because this should be engagement with the indigenous community, so we really need some feedback from them to fulfill our research. I think this is due of the limited time. This is our discussion in Asia group. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Nukila. Okay, and thank you of the Asia group. Who wants to continue?
That's okay, Vivian.
Okay, go on.
Okay, for us,
Vivian.
yes. So for us, okay, Nai.
You present.
I'll present the first part and then Daisy will finish with the remaining section. So in our group, we chose a topic on women economic empowerment, because women are the victims of climate change, and when the family does not have the resources to vent for the family, they are the people who suffer the most. So what we agreed is we will enhance the skills of the women. We will build their capacity to enable them have the knowledge on entrepreneurship and financial literacy. So we will build their capacity as well on different ways they can earn their income so that they can be financially independent. So we will encourage women to work in groups to enhance, because with the synergistic effect, they are going to benefit more because they will work collaboratively as a team. So we will encourage all the women to belong to a given women group in the community. And then now each group will decide on the type of the business or on the type of an income generating activity that they would like to venture into. And then by that, they are going to be financially independent. And of course, with our approach, we are going to ensure that it is culturally sensitive. All the activities that we will undertake will respect the traditions and values of the community. And we will use different approaches. Daisy will explain that on the methodology that we will use. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Vivian. In Africa, we identified like 2 methodologies that we are going to use, and we wanted to present them to you. And one is on stories, just like Vivian told us on economic empowerment. We have a small story that our mothers tell us in that community in relation to climate change and economic empowerment. Long ago, when the land, people had not destroyed the land, that's what our mothers told us. I didn't see it because I grew up in an already distorted land. So what our mothers tell us is, you know, when we were growing up, our mothers didn't have to struggle as much as they are struggling now, because most of the things like wild fruits were around. It was easy to feed their children. It was easy for them to have milk. They could milk and use it for butter trade. They could have like goats and all that around the homesteads and all that, because by then the male and our fathers or grandfathers used to own the cows mostly, and mothers at some point there are some goats that were left back for them. But nowadays it's not the same, and mothers are not even allowed to own the goats. And that is why we are trying to bring back this economic empowerment. We're trying to show them, like, you know, we can do this. When we venture into like tree seedlings and all that, they tell us, yes, we can go back to that and all that. But the story that they tell us really drives us, really gives us reasons as to why we should venture into some research and get to know all that. And another methodology is the use of songs. And we have 2 songs as Africa we would like to display, and we shall tell you the meaning. It goes hand in hand with capacity building, the topic that we chose. And I would like teacher Angela to play one, then I explain in like 1 minute, then the other one in the next minute. Thank you. So the song is says Kenamake Morn, meaning let's hold our hands together so that we can be empowered. Like like if one is empowered and all of us are not empowered, you're not going to like save our community. So let's hold hands together as women, as Pokot women, so that we can build our community. We can come up with all those things. What we said had gone, if we hold hands together, it's going to come back. If it's supporting our girls, if it's coming up with a decision as women, if we hold our hands together as a team, our men are going to respect us. The next one. Okay, as teacher Angela is looking for it, these songs actually, as I explained in the other song, I think both in the Maasai and in the Pokot, in something like FGM that I told you last time, they really relay a very they play a very vital role in us. That's why like we insist on songs, because this is what people will listen as entertainment, and at the same time they are going to get the information, and you'll find people in the community, they'll start singing it, they'll sing it. If it's on girl child education, if I sit down with my mothers, we talk on something, we talk on capacity building, we come up with a song, we sing it, and it's going to be all over the village. I think Teacher Angela lost it.
Something else crossed my mind as well. There's this point that we discussed, in that all these activities that the women will venture into has to uphold the use of traditional knowledge. For example, the use of beadwork, like doing beadwork is something that was done culturally, and at the same time, it's going to benefit the women and something and money that they can use to support their families. Also, we will support them to venture into activities that are alternative to those degrading activities to our environment. For example, beekeeping, to avoid over dependence on the forest resources. Yeah, thank you.
Okay, teacher, yeah, thank you. There it is. Has it ended?
Sorry?
Okay.
Yes,
I think I lost network, but it's okay. So I hope my friends had it. So the song says, "Kichamyutina." It means like the mothers have accepted change. And this was an event that these are the mothers that are, these are my community women that we went with them. And this is the song they were singing. Like, as women, we've accepted change. As women, anything you're coming to tell us that pertains change, we are going to accept and we are going to work in it. Because a good thing is they didn't know about their rights. They didn't know anything. Like SIDO, we had to do some things like recordings in Pokot, train them, get all that, and they were so much impressed by that. And that's what they were singing. I wish you could get the real words, because they were singing what they had been trained and what they were really accepting. So those are the methodologies that as Africa we saw and are going to be very important and vital to us. Thank you all.
Just to chip on something, we also said on something based on age set system, how it's generational. It's one of the methodology also the community use. To do the age set, each age set come up and also learn from the community different things that are going on, like the beads making that women do and others.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Africa group. And now we are going to explore the proposal from Latin America.
Gracias.
Thank you. I am going to share. Can you see my screen? Well, we propose this activity, which we called the River, Territory, and Body, which has to do with identifying the perception of the evolution and connection that people might have through the river and the connection that they have to these hydro sources. As a population, we have the intergenerational population of the Huitzoplaco community. We're going to have some minutes for the activity, 15 for each to present, 20 for the reflections, conclusions and reflections, 15 minutes for the construction of proposals of action. And the activity consists of defining 4 working groups
The first group that each one of these groups is going to have as an element, a representative element. Sorry, give me 1 second.
Disculpe. Les decía que se van a crear
I'm
4
sorry, I was saying that we're going to create 4 groups and each one is going to have an element that is representative. And the first one is that it has the water. And the first task of this group is to draw to represent the situation of the river 30 years ago. As part of this group, you can, in the picture, dances and rituals that would be celebrated before the care of water, that those chantings and those offerings that used to be made. The second group has a clay pot, and their task is to represent the current situation of the river, what changes it has suffered. And the third group has this an element of flowers, and their idea is to represent a future vision of how they want or they feel that the river is going to look like in the future, in the next 15 years. And the fourth group that has an element, a backpack, and their objective is to represent the spiritual connection that what does it represent to them? What does it say to them, the river? And the objective is to reflect, building a reflection based on the temporality of what they were before, what they look like before, how we want them to be in the future, and reflect, and finally build a concrete proposal, action proposal at a community level. That's our proposal of activities that would be a part of a workshop. I don't know if a sister wants to add something else. Thank you.
Bueno, no sé, ¿alguien más de Latinoamérica quiere compartir?
Anybody else from Latin America wants to share? Or not?
¿No? Bueno.
No?
Entonces, ahora en estos 10 minutitos que nos
In the
quedan,
next 10 minutes that we have, I'm going to ask you, because I owe you breaks from 15 days ago, I'm going to ask that you upload the material for the Moodle activities.
creo que, bueno, ya the Asian group
I think the Asian
have your presentation, perhaps the Latin American group too. And for example, in these 10 minutes, the African group could be to put in a power presentation the proposition, and in the other side, for example, the group from Asia should think about a specific methodology, and I think the Latin American group should perhaps go a little deeper in the activity. Okay. because we need to have the activities and the homework in the forum. Yes, it is okay. And thank you very much for this incredible session, for your work, your proposal, your ideas, and your disposition to develop this important discussion. Okay. Please don't forget to upload the activity. You have now 15 minutes to work in your activities and to upload the materials. Okay? Yes, it is okay for everyone? Hmm?
Yes.
Okay. And see you Friday. Okay? Daisy, I hope you will recover Friday because she's a little sick. Okay?
Thank you, teacher. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.
Gracias, buen día.
Thank you, teacher.